kitchen. Cool. Again, forgive me if you did mention it in chat, the Hangover guy. Again, are you creating a game, or are you making a cinematic, or well, probably should read your little breakdown there, shouldn't I? Where are we? Here we are. Modular assets, gain experience using PBR, using 3D Studio Max. You have experience in before, but you want to use your main modeling software. Sniper Echo uses Blender as well, so yeah, Sniper Echo knows more about Blender than I probably do. I use Max. Integrating and understanding textile density, yep. You try to give the environment character and help tell a story, yep. I'm just curious as to what you're going to actually do with it once you've once you've made it. You're going to upload it so that people can walk around in it. It'll be a free explorable interior. Well, that sounds cool. Really cool. Again, for you guys that want to get into doing 3D, and it's a great thing to use the Unreal Engine to make something for your portfolio, like the Hangover guy is doing, because it lets the potential employer download it and wander through the level as well, so they can... It creates a more memorable experience for people who look at hundreds of images a day when people are submitting their portfolio work. You'll stand a better chance of being noticed with something that the employer can actually walk around in and look at. So it's a great thing to be doing. Really great. A+ all the way. Like I said, this little what you want out of the project is excellent. The environment you've chosen from the short film here is really interesting, and the story is interesting. So, good storyline, good breakdown of what you want out of the project, good breakdown here of the actual blocking out of the project. It's all really cool, really cool. And these puppies are mega cute, so cute. I'm more of a cat person myself, but that's cute. Those puppies are cute. Yeah, it's looking great, really great. Like I said, I really want to see what it looks like once you've got a bit more going on here with the when you finish doing your block out, you start making your assets and putting them in. Please pop back into stream and show us, because I'd love to see it. And do remember, I am a Max guy myself, so if you want any help while I'm on stream, feel free to pop into chat and ask me. If you're using Max. If you're using Blender, Sniper Echo is probably more your guy. But if you're using Max, yeah, I've used Max from the very beginning, since it was version 1. And now they're up to Max 2018, so there's 12 versions ago. I've been with Max, well, they used to call it 3D Studio back in the day. So yes. Yeah, Sniper Echo says it's nice to have something to make props for. It is, it is. And he says he finds it easier and more fun. Well, that's true. Well, no, that's cool. That's why why I'm here, Hangover Guy. I'm here to show you guys how I work, and it's served me well in the years I worked in games design. Even though I wasn't using the Unreal Engine for the studios I worked at previously, they had their own in-house engines. The process is still pretty much the same, regardless of the engine. So, and it's important, if you are going to give people a live application that they can use to actually walk through your whatever it is you're making. Like I said, the way I show you me doing it here is the best way that I've discovered to do it, and that I've found other people when I've worked at studios doing. Just so that you use the least amount of memory, the least amount of polygons, and get the most speed out of the engine for your walkthrough, for your game, for your cinematic, for whatever it is. And just to show you some of the pitfalls that you shouldn't be doing, as I show you what I do and how I do it. Again, all of this is animated in the wind. I will turn it on. OBS really hates real time though. We'll turn it on, we'll let this sit here for a minute so we can get the wind animation happening a little bit better. But yeah, all of the trees are moving in the wind. It is all like fully animated. It will be all fully animated when we create the cinematic. It just takes the engine a few minutes to bring the wind gusts up. And again, I have very subtle movement happening on all of my plants here. I don't have anything too dramatic. Simply because I didn't want it to look like it was blowing in a gale. I just wanted subtle movement on my plants. But yes, everything is fully animated and will be fully animated in this cinematic. Yes, wind, I know. Wind is so cool. You know, over the years of me working in 3D and being a gamer, because I play video games, I always have, one of the things I always used to really hate about video games was the environments. When I say the environments, I mean the vegetation. Because back in, you know, we're talking 10 years ago, they didn't have a lot of power in graphics cards or a lot of memory in computers, so through no fault of their own, they had to really make things pretty basic. But nowadays, with the video card power that we've got and with the memory we've got in our computers, you can create some really realistic looking vegetation. That was always one of my pet peeves with when I looked at video games in the past, was the vegetation always looked low res and really unrealistic. But with SpeedTree and the Unreal Engine and the power of graphics cards today, you can create some really amazing looking vegetation and environments. And the fact that Unreal makes it so easy for you to bring into your, for you to create something in Unreal, is just amazing. I'm just going to, I can see OBS has like dropped my frame rate back to about 20, so you probably may be seeing a little bit of stutter, but again, there's no stutter on my screen. It's just to do with OBS. It really doesn't like real time. And it could be a problem with the latest update of OBS, I think. But yes, so we'll be going through the best practice, so to speak, when we make these environments. And best practice is to reuse as much as you can, to use as little memory and as little poly count. Alright, what are we going to do now? Let's bring the gate in, I think. We have this gate section that we set here before we actually get to our main stairwell. And I did actually create a blueprint for that, so I'm going to jump into my blueprints folder and find that. This one here. Again, I know Sniper Echo said he was having problems with blueprints slowing his machine down. That's something to be aware of. I haven't found that problem myself, and I find blueprints are a really good way to assemble an asset that's made out of many different duplicates of an asset, if that makes sense. Throwing all of that into a blueprint then that you can just move in quickly is a godsend. Makes life much easier. But do be aware, as I said, Sniper Echo has found that it slows his machine down. I haven't found that, but just something to be aware of in case. Let's move this into position. We're going to have to scale it up again because when we did the original asset, you won't have this problem if you don't scale your asset up in Unreal once you've exported it from whatever 3D program you're using. But I scaled mine up, so all my assets are going to be a bit tinier than they should be. It's not a big deal. You can scale it up in Unreal, but it will make your life easier if you get all of this correct prior. And anyone that can hear my phone going off in the background, my apologies. The machine will get it in a minute. Okay, I think we need to scale it up just a bit more. Alright. It's going to scale it up until it just touches the side of our columns here. And you don't want to do that and do a non-uniform scale. Make sure it's a uniform scale. Well, for something you've made to fit a specific spot anyway, like I have here. Alright, that's should be good. Sitting around about the middle of our column here. Catch you again soon. No, it's 2:30 AM where you are. You're quite welcome, the Hangover Guy. I'm back on again tomorrow. I stream on a Monday, a Tuesday, usually a Wednesday, but I can't because work's too busy at the studio at the moment. But I'll be back on again tomorrow, or every Monday and Tuesday, 5 PM Pacific in the US, 1 AM in the UK. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for following the channel. Thanks for showing your art. I appreciate that. And yep, hopefully I'll see you again soon. All right. Well, this is a metallic texture we've got going on here with our gate section. Let's just deselect that for a minute. Just want to make sure I'm looking at the right side here. I'm pretty sure I am. I am going to at some stage check the texturing here. I just want to look at why that's looking so reflective. Some sections of the gate are just looking a bit too reflective. I may just do that quickly now, I think. Just going to look at some of those asset pieces. We'll work out what's going on. Now that can sometimes be a problem with a specular either being there or not being there. See, the interesting thing, no, it's one piece of geometry, and it's this gate section. The others are okay, so that will be this one here, which is fine in the viewport, but let me check the texture. Just wait for the Unreal Engine there to pick up what's going on. Alright, normal map is okay. We're using a combined texture here for the ambient occlusion, roughness and metallic. It's just placed them all into one texture in different channels for the different maps. So the red channel has the ambient occlusion, the green channel has the roughness, and the blue has the metallic. And again, it could just be an artifact of the lighting and the way it is at the moment. But I'm going to add a constant just by holding down the 1 key on the keyboard and pipe that into the specular. We'll see if that makes any difference if we look in our viewport here when we save our texture. Okay, it's darkened it up a little bit, but not really enough. I think what I may do... Metallic is going to the blue. I'm just going to break the metallic link for a minute. I want to see which texture is affecting that shininess here. I'm just going to resave the map, or the shader. Okay, it is actually, it's the metallic value that's a little bit off, I think. I might pull up on the specular to maybe 0.5. We'll resave it again. Okay. We'll take that value back down to maybe, we'll try 0.1 on the specular. It's the reflection, but again, I have a feeling what's causing this is not so much the texture, but more the environment, because we have an environment that's really heavily fogged. And I think that may be throwing off the reflection a little bit, although I'm curious to see why it's not doing it on this one. And it's a problem either with the environment or the metallic map that we have assigned to this asset. Just going to, yeah. We could either try and pull it back by using a node here in the engine, or we can adjust the actual metallic map in Substance Painter For the moment though, we won't. What we're going to do here at the moment is I'm just going to leave this as it is until we start getting the lighting a little bit more organised. And then we'll come back and work out whether it's a lighting problem or a texture problem. Because I really like the, if we look at these pieces through here that are coloured correctly, I really like the reflection we've got going on in the metal, which we're losing here because I've had to disable the metallic channel. Yeah, I like that shiny look. So I really don't want to disable the metallic channel. I'm actually going to re-enable it. And what we'll do is we'll look at what's going on with that texture once we've got a few more assets in place and our lighting has been adjusted a bit better. I think that's the best way to go. So, yeah. Yeah, we'll look at that in a second. Well, once we've got some more assets in, let's move up to the second floor here. And let's get our railing section through the middle in place. Again, we've already created a blueprint for it. It's this one here. We're just going to rotate it around 90 degrees. We'll get at an angle where we can see it a bit better and we'll scale it up. I'm just going to have to play with the scaling values a little bit here until we can get it to the right size. Let's jump back down and look at it from the bottom. I think it may need to be pulled up just a touch. Deselect it. And I'm just looking around to make sure that nothing is intersecting incorrectly. It looks like it's a little short on this end, either that or it's too far over, so I'm just going to move it down a little, I think. Yep. Okay, looks like it's a little short here. I think what we may need to do is scale it up just a touch. Again, this would be easier to do in the top viewport, but that's really boring to look at on stream, so I'm doing it in the perspective here. But ideally you do this in the top viewport, not the perspective viewport. Let's pull back here and get at an angle where we can see what's going on. Again, I'm just making sure that nothing is intersecting those banister pieces that shouldn't be. No, I think we're pretty good. Alright, and we're going to have a floor piece that sits along here as well once we get that textured up and brought in. Okay. Alright, what do we bring in now? What do we got here? We have some railing sections. Maybe we should look at bringing that in. Just trying to think if we should maybe concentrate on trying to flesh out one of the front rooms here, or just work on things here and there as we go. You know what, let's bring the doors in. Let's do that. Again, I've got a blueprint created for the doors. That's this one here. And yeah, this is the real power of using blueprints, being able to bring things in pre-made easily. I'm going to face this direction so OBS doesn't complain to me. Let's scale this up to fit. We need to go a bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger. Again, I'm leaving a little gap at the bottom. I don't want a gap at the top here though. I do want that to fit up to the top of the frame. A bit of a gap at the bottom though, so that remembering we have to place our floor mesh underneath of the down here anyway. And we do want a bit of a gap at the bottom of the door so people can open and close the door. So and again, I just want to make sure it's about in the middle of our door frame. Yeah, I think about the middle is probably better. I was going to say we could push it back to the edge of the door frame, but I think about the middle would look more interesting. So I may bring it forward. I'll push it in just a little. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Alright, let's duplicate this for the other side. Now these doors are the same on both sides, so we don't really have to worry about rotating them or anything like that. Let's duplicate one for down the end here. And we'll rotate it around 90 degrees. Okay. Now I think we can leave them closed, which is fine, or we can open them up a bit to add a bit more interest, and I think we might do that. Again, when I made this asset, if I'd moved the pivot to the edge here, it would have been easier for me to open and close these doors. It's not a big deal though, really. We'll push this one back, I think. Just trying to get it at an angle here, I think will look interesting. No problem, Sniper Echo. Again, thanks buddy for popping into chat, and thanks for joining the Full Industry 3D server. I'll be back on again tomorrow. If I see you then, that's cool. Have a good weekend if I don't. Oh, you're going to be popping in tomorrow? Cool. I'll see you tomorrow then. Again, thanks for watching, Sniper Echo. Have a good night's sleep. I'm sure it's pretty late where you are. Let's just move that over into the frame here. Not that much. Actually gonna have to pull it back, I think. Move it over. Pull it back. And pull it forward. It's actually got to sit outside of our door frame. We don't want it sticking in the door frame. Alright, we can play with our doors when we get more of our assets in, so we can get a nice looking composition for our scene going on. Oh, we need another door down the end here. I forgot about that one. Let's duplicate this door again. And we'll pull it down. Okay, no door there. There isn't actually another room there, but I think you enter it, yeah, through here. So let's grab another duplicate of one of those doors and move it around. We'll populate these back sections, even though we may never go back there with our camera and our cinematic. We may as well populate them to make them look right. Make it all look complete. Well, let's just rotate this around at 90 degrees though. When we made our rooms, we made sure all of the doors were the same size. It just makes our life easier when we want to place all this stuff. Look forward. Okay. Now we do have doors up here as well. Now where am I? Getting lost here. We've got a door here as well. Which we will also place. So let's just duplicate one of these doors one more time. Fix my mouse up there. Actually, we have 3 doors. Oh no, these aren't actually doorways, they're leading out to a balcony. We've only got 1 door, that's right. Right, now in the original this doorway was always open. But in the remake here, I think I'm going to place one of these doors and open them up. It'll just look more interesting. And that's the reason that this door is a little smaller than the one, bigger I should say, than the ones downstairs, because there was never a door here initially. Scale it up just a tad more. Bring it up just a little bit as well. Alright, now if we look through here, we do have two doorways here as well. And again, I think I'll place doors there, but I'll have them open because in our original cinematic, our camera came up and then we sort of swept along here like this, and then we entered through this door, around, and back out backwards like this. We'll do a similar thing, but I want doors there because it'll just look more interesting. I'm just trying to recall what size doors they are. I think they may be more the size of the ones down here, so let's duplicate one of these. And pull it up. And rotate it around. I may just pull it down just a tiny bit. Okay. Let's just duplicate that for the other side. Alright, we'll leave them closed at this stage, but we are going to open them up so we can actually move our camera through them. Alright. So I think, again, we're not putting doors on these, they're going to be left completely open. We've got doors on our side rooms to our back room. We do have to continue placing our columns in these secondary rooms, even though we're probably not going to take our camera in here. There are chances are we may see it from outside here as our camera passes our building, so we really do want to make sure it's populated, at least with columns and panels, just to be on the safe side. And again, I think I'll start by pulling in a couple of these columns. I just realised we don't actually have a window in this room. I'm not sure why I didn't put a window in this room, but no big deal. It can be like a sitting room or something, I suppose. I'm going to pull a column in until it just touches the doorway. And again, I'm going to make sure it doesn't actually go into our wall. I think that's okay. Height looks okay. Let's duplicate the column one more time. Move it, rotate it 90 degrees. Make sure that the depth here is the same as the other column.
I wake up feeling broken. I get up and I lose my devotion. I never stepped astray, but now I lost my way.
Let's grab one of these wooden pieces we're using for above the door. Let's see if we can reuse one of these. So we'll take the one at the side. It's already positioned in the right direction.
Even though it takes courage to capture a dancer, the things I fear the most between you, between me and
Now we have a couple of options here. We can either scale this into fit, or we can leave it sticking inside the panels because no one's ever going to notice or know. Let's bring it forward just a little bit as well. And I think we will leave it inside the actual column because you're never going to see it. And if I scale it to fit that width, we run the risk then of scaling the texture too much, or squishing that texture up a bit too much. Anyway, let's just pull back out here and have a look at our handiwork for the day. Alright, our building's coming together slowly. I think we may leave it there though for today, guys. I do want to thank you guys very much for hanging out with me and for watching. I will be back on again tomorrow at 5 PM Pacific time in the United States. Do remember, if you're not sure when I'm live, you can keep an eye on my Twitter page at PhilDoes3D. I always post when I'm about to go live there. Or I always post when I am live there. Like I said, I do want to thank you guys very much for hanging out with me and for watching, and to you guys that follow the channel as well. I do appreciate that. I will be back on again, as I said, tomorrow 5 PM. I hope you guys have a great night. Do remember, if you want to join the PhilDoes3D server, that install the Twitch app and you can join the server that way, and you can post links in chat if you're not a subscriber, because I want to see the stuff you guys are making, so please feel free to join the server, and that way you will be able to post a link if you're not a sub. Only subs can post in Twitch chat though, unfortunately. Again, thanks guys for watching, for hanging out. I'll be back on tomorrow. You guys have a great night, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, guys. See ya.